All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you the simplest possible way to start an online business in 2025, even if you've got no idea what to sell. In this video, I'm going to show you how to pick a niche, aka who you're going to sell to. I'm going to show you how you accurately define what the most painful problem is. I'm going to show you how you solve that problem, and then I'm going to show you how you actually present that solution to the market, aka make money. So let's get into this. So first of all, when it comes to picking a niche, there's no right answer, but there's definitely wrong answers. First of all, you need a market of at least 1,000 businesses. If your market is the US, I'd say you need a market of at least 5,000 to 10,000 businesses. Anything less than that, and you're going to have far too few leads, and it's just not going to be that viable of a business. But importantly, you need some damn passion when it comes to picking this niche. Ultimately, if this is going to be a business that you stick to and are successful in, you're going to be solving a problem for these people for anywhere from the next 18 months to 5 years. And if you're going to succeed in that, you need to be passionate about the group that you're solving the problem for. For instance, if you're like me, I'm fairly passionate about fitness, and as such, I chose to work with gym owners. One, because I find they're just very agreeable people, but two, I just generally speaking like fitness, and it's something that I'm interested in. Now, that's not saying that gyms are the perfect niche, but again, you want a little bit of passion involved because it's just going to make your work that much easier and also just a bit enjoyable as well. But after that, once you've essentially picked that niche, you're just going to pick up the phone, call a random business, and basically say you're doing some market research. And if the owner picks up, you say, look, can I have 1 minute of your time? If you really want to dress it up and you want to make it seem just a bit less salesy, you could even, tell a little white lie. You could say, look, I'm Dr. So-and-so doing research for this university. Can I have 30 seconds of your time just to do some market research on your particular industry? Whatever it might be. But essentially what you're going to do, you're going to try and speak to the owner, and you're essentially going to ask one simple question. What is the biggest struggle that you have as a blank owner? Insert your niche there, as a gym owner, as a hair salonist, as a cafe, whatever it might be. And ideally, you want to talk to around 10 to 20 business owners because that'll give you a really good idea of essentially what that industry struggles with. Now, I have a feeling I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably, when you hear the words, pick up the phone, cold call, all these things, you've probably immediately got a lot of emotion bubbling to the surface, and I totally empathize with that. But at the same time, you need to sort of look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, if you can't pick up the phone to 10 random business owners, you're not even selling them, you're not even going to ever talk to them again in your life, probably. You're simply asking them, hey, what do you struggle with as a blank owner? If you can't do that, and I know it, believe me, I'm talking from personal experience, it sounds scary, but again, you need to really get this in your head that if you are going to become a successful online entrepreneur, it's not easy. It requires work, and you're going to have to face some fears along the way. So pick up the damn phone and dial. I can't put it any more simply than that. I sympathize with you if you've got some anxiety behind that. But again, you could try email, but it's just not going to work. You're not going to get those responses. And if you do, the responses aren't going to be of a high enough quality. And believe me, I've done this myself. And most business owners, again, if they're super, super busy, it is what it is. They're not going to talk to you. But if they do have a spare 1 or 2 minutes, you're not trying to sell them. You're just genuinely curious about their industry. And again, most business owners start businesses that they themselves are passionate about. And as such, they love talking about it. So I guarantee you, it might seem a bit scary in your head, but most business owners will love talking about their own business. It's kind of one of those things where, most people's favorite conversation is themselves. Business owners are exactly the same. But again, once you've spoken to anywhere from 10 to 20 business owners and you've sort of identified what they're struggling with, you now want to figure out how you're going to solve that problem. So just as a random example, say you choose gyms and their problem is client retention. They have a really tough problem keeping clients on for the long term. You essentially need to find a solution to that. And every problem has a solution. I guarantee you it. And ultimately, the best place to start finding that solution is YouTube. But it's also important to identify that your solution will never be perfect until you actually put it out to the market. With me, for instance, in my business, the first few clients that I ever had, I really didn't get them that great results because even though I did tons of research into, how I could actually solve this problem, if it's a genuinely super, super painful problem for business owners, I guarantee you they've probably tried a few things themselves to fix it with obviously no luck. Now, 80% of your solution is going to come from actually implementing it with your clients and just simply trial and error. You're going to try something, it's probably not going to work, but every now and then, if you keep trying things, or rather new things, eventually you're going to come across a golden solution, and that's going to make you a ton of money. The important thing is that you can do as much research as you want in the world, but there is such a thing as over-research. If you just keep on doing research, and try and make this solution as perfect as possible without actually putting it to the market, I guarantee you that solution will be 10% in terms of the actual efficiency of that solution compared to someone that did a few hours of research, signed a client, did a bunch of trial and error, and just happened to stumble upon something that worked. I know it sounds a bit scary, so I'm selling people on something that I don't even know about. Essentially, yes, and when you're starting out, you're not going to be charging these big retainers, despite what you hear online from gurus. Most of them are lying to you because they want to sell you a course. It's really just as simple as that. Now, if that scares you and that puts you off, good. Business is not easy at the end of the day, but it's important to have it in your mind that, look, even though my solution is not perfect, that's not going to stop me from putting it out to the market and basically seeing what sticks. And that obviously leads us on nicely to the last point, which is obviously present your solution to the market. Now, this follows on from the last point because, again, you might be thinking, oh, but how do I solve this problem, blah, blah, blah. But if you've done genuinely high quality niche research, if you've only called 1 or 2 business owners and all of a sudden you're struggling with this method, it's not going to be that surprising. But if you've genuinely talked to 1 or 2 dozen business owners and they all have a fairly common problem, if you call up that business and say, hey, look, chances are you're dealing with this problem and I can fix it for you. Again, if you've done really high quality research in that particular niche, most business owners are going to go, oh wow, I've got this really, really painful problem and he's saying he can solve it for me. Why not? It's worth 30 minutes of my time. And essentially all you want to do is you just want to book appointments with business owners, selling them on the solution that you've already somewhat come up with. Now again, how you're going to do this, it's so many methods. You could run paid ads, but obviously that's expensive. If you're in the market for basically a free method, cold calls, cold emails, cold DMs, basically cold outreach is going to be your bread and butter when it comes to actually getting clients. Now again, you're probably having 10 times the anxiety you had before when it came to actually doing the market research. But again, and that's why that previous step is so important, because if you've actually put the time in and you've faced those fears and you've done high quality market research, this is going to be way easier than it sounds. Because say for most businesses, generally speaking, they really struggle with clients. If you go to a business that only has a couple months of capital left to keep it running and they're struggling to get clients, you go to them and you say, hey, do you have this problem? Oh, you do have this problem. Well, look, I'm glad you said that, because here's what I can do for you. I can solve this problem for you and I'm not going to make a dime until I do. If you present that offer to business owners in such a way, I guarantee you a lot of them at the very least will give you half an hour of their time to at least explore what your solution could possibly be. So those are the 4 steps behind starting an online business. It probably sounds simpler than you imagined, but in reality, there's only so much people like me or any other YouTuber or guru can actually tell you. At the end of the day, most people are just trying to sell you a course or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, if you put in the work on the ground and you actually take this seriously and you do, again, the niche research is the most important thing. If you can do that step properly into a really high degree of quality, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be way easier than most people find online business in general. So that's it for this video. If you're starting a new business or you're in the early days of growing an online business and you want my help, video in the description. Check it out if you're interested. Anyway, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one.